welcome to another episode of Real Talk Tonight. I am here in Palmdale, California with the all-time famous, wonderful Steve Hill. And he is a political advocate. He also does comedy, and he's just an all-around great guy. And we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty with him today and find out what's going on in the AV. So let's welcome Steve Hill to the show. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm just excited to be here.
Good. I'm
just
so
glad to be hanging out in hell.
Yeah.
With Steve Hill. And yes, I think hell is about to freeze over because right now I'm cold as fuck.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, we live in the AV. That's what happens.
Yeah.
We don't have 4 seasons, just 2. Either hell or froze over.
Froze over. Yeah.
So, I'm actually going to turn this over to you, and you just start wherever you want.
Oh, I need questions. I need to answer questions.
So,
give me a tough question.
With hell?
How do we come up with the concept of hell?
Yeah, and I saw your license plates. It's like for Satan, and all of that. So, how did that come about?
Well, that basically all came about, and I believe it was 2015. I performed at a secular conference in my hometown of St. Louis, Missouri, where I had a friend who kind of convinced me to become a Satanist.
Okay.
Which I thought was like, you want me to become a what? I'm like, shit, I'm already black. I don't need no extra baggage of being a Satanist, And then she had a friend, mutual friend now, named Lucian Greaves, is his name. And she introduced us, and he just happened to be the co-founder of the Satanic Temple.
Okay.
And, we hung out, talked. I saw what they were about. They're basically advocates for the separation of church and state, which I
agree.
Same thing. I do. So I figured, and after speaking with him and seeing how intelligent and what a mild-mannered person that Lucian was, who didn't really want to hurt anybody, didn't want to barbecue children on the weekends and eat kids and, brimstone and fire all in his living room. He was nothing like that. He's just somebody that made a whole lot of sense. So I went to the website and looked at, what they were all about. I read the 7 tenets, and I was like, wow, these 7 tenets make a whole lot more sense than the 10 fucking commandments. Because put it all in its proper context, it dealt more with human beings in reality.
Right.
To me, and I especially like the 4th tenet, the one that states that you have the right to offend people.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yes.
And anyone who fucks with somebody else's right to offend will have their privileges revoked.
Right.
So we have the right to offend, and there's other great tenets, like people are all fallible if you make a mistake. Apologize, do what you can to correct it, and move forward in a positive direction.
Right.
So I suggest everybody go to the Satanic Temple website and learn before you judge.
Yes.
Learn before you judge.
My questions have always been when they are forcing your state and everything that your laws are based on biblical things, or they're trying to enforce it, and let's bring this back into the schools and things like that. But who determines what part of the Bible we actually follow? Because there are some scriptures in there that said if a woman was menstruating, they would be stoned to death if they went outside. So it's like, I'm sorry, I'm in my 40s, and I had to go to work, I had to go to school, I had to take care of stuff, So who takes that out but then decides, something more serious on a lesser offense.
Right.
Like, who decides that for us? Like, shouldn't that be our decision
And
not pushed on us by our state? I
yeah,
totally agree.
That pretty much has been determined in history by whoever wins the wars.
Yeah.
Because he who wins the wars writes the history.
Yes.
And you got all kind of interpretations of the Bible.
Yes.
I mean, this shit is ancient.
Yes.
Prehistoric. It's like, we can't even get history right. America is how old? 230 something years, 237,
237,
years old.
Yeah.
Celebrated our bicentennial, in 1976.
Yes.
And
76.
we can't get history straight right fucking now. From 1619 when black people got here as slaves, we can't get that history right. They don't want it taught a certain way.
Out of our history.
So why the fuck are we arguing about shit in this primitive ancient text that has been interpreted, reinterpreted, edited,
and
redacted?
And
slaves obey your masters. You don't see them preaching that shit in church no more. I mean,
no.
If you don't understand that religion is an instrument of oppression, you will always be a fucking slave.
Yes.
And I'm trying to end slavery. I'm trying to emancipate my people. And when I say my people, that's everybody.
That's everyone, yes.
Everybody needs to be free.
Yes.
It's what America's all about.
Yes.
It's why people fucking died trying to get here.
Life of the free. But
that's just Satan's opinion. I don't know.
So tell us what's going on in the AV. What's going on with?
Oh, what's going on in the AV? We just finished our election cycle, midterms. I had a friend that was running. Very good lady, very very good woman, Chrissy Smith.
Yes.
She should have won. She ran against a guy who supported the President of the United States who tried to overthrow the fucking government. And she lost. If you can imagine that. I don't know what country I'm in. I don't know this new district, the 27th. I thought it would, congressional district, I thought it would lean more, the demographics would reflect that it's more Democrat, more liberal, more free-thinking people than. But our people are too busy just trying to survive to get involved in politics, so they're distracted. They don't, to be frank, they don't give a fuck about politics. They're trying to survive.
Yeah.
They're trying to pay their bills. They're trying to keep gas in their car. They're trying to keep, their kids in school, out of trouble.
Right.
Because that's a whole different thing in the AV, because we're a bedroom community where a lot of people commute into LA, and people, I've been here 32 years. People are trying to find people to watch their kids. There's gaps time when you can't get home. Kids are unsupervised.
Yes.
Not much to do here in the AV. Trust me. And, it's a basically, I just refer to it as a sick community.
Yes.
Because we got a lot of ills. We got a lot of problems. We got a homeless problem. We got veterans. We got affordable housing.
Yes.
We have kids in foster care. We got disproportionality in the rates of suspension and expulsion for the African American communities, which feeds our school to prison pipeline bullshit that they always talk about, but they never seem to be able to do anything about. They don't support the teachers. The teachers are like, they can't be psychiatrists and psychologists all and expect to teach and fucking, spend their own money on getting the needs of the kids in the classrooms. And, it's a sick community. And the politicians we keep electing,
Let's talk about that.
Let's
talk
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. You're gonna fuck around and cause a real fire.
Right. I have been a member of the Antelope Valley community for about 15 to 17 years. I grew up, I was born and raised in Pacoima. Yeah. And in the San Fernando Valley. That's where I'm from. That's where my kids were raised. And we moved to the Antelope Valley. I have 2 sons and a daughter, and I'm like, oh, it's cheaper there. They say the school systems are amazing. It's not as crowded. You know, it's going to be a great place for my boys because, you know, in Pacoima, you don't really have a lot of race things to worry about. You have the gangbangers, the drug pushers. That's who you have to worry about. You know, they'll roll up on you where you're from, and if you act stupid or even say nowhere, they don't believe you. You're going to get beat down, you're going to get shot. So I'm looking at my sons, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to raise my sons like that. So we moved to the AV, and my oldest was in his last year of elementary school. And he was introduced to race wars in elementary school. Being a Hispanic kid, he had, you know, Hispanic friends, he had black friends, he had Asian friends, he had white friends. And then one day he goes to school and his black friends come up to him and they're like, hey, Bravo, like, it's us against them. And they're pointing at the white kids, you know, and he's like, excuse me? Like what? You know? And that's when he was introduced to how kids are being raised racist in the AV. And he came home and he was like, Mom, it's like, what is going on with this? And I was like, what? You know, and they went to a charter school in Pacoima that was funded by Michael Douglas. Okay? And he used to come, he read stories to them when they opened up their new library. And there were all different races of kids there. And it was top-notch education. When my kids came out here, these schools were behind. My kids sat there and twiddled their thumbs for 2-3 years until they brought something new to the table for them. You know? And that's where my concern immediately popped off, was like, wait, my kids aren't getting a good education. They're being exposed to all of this racist bullshit that they were never exposed to in the middle of Pacoima. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, in the 50s and 60s, San Fernando High School had their big, huge race war, and that's where all the kids from Pacoima go, to San Fernando High School. You know? And it's like, but they're not even being introduced to that stuff. They don't even think about that. They're worried about surviving on the street. You know? And then all of a sudden they come here where it's supposed to be so peaceful and quiet and, you know, retirement communities and just so beautiful. And then, boom, they have to deal with that in school.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of like a misrepresentation. It's kind of like what the country is going through right now as a whole. It's like, who are we?
Yes.
You gotta step back and look at our country, everything right now, and recalibrate the way you think, especially if you brown.
Yes.
Black or brown.
Yes.
You know,
and it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman.
Yeah,
I get stuff against me every single day.
Yeah, it's like if you somebody like me that people know around here, black, outspoken, atheist, you're like, you know, you're in like battle mode as soon as you walk out the front door.
Yes.
You know, and you're talking about, you know, making a reference to like everybody splitting up and being taught racism, and they don't understand. That's prison structure.
Oh yeah.
We got people doing this shit, prison structure, in schools.
Yes.
I mean, how?
Yeah. Everything is segregated.
It's like because in the prisons it's so common. You got blacks, Hispanics, whites, and then you have others, which is such a fucking degrading, just characterization of a human being that I can imagine. Other. What the fuck is a other?
Yeah.
Like, no, and I can't preface that with fucking, but but if I'm Filipino, or I'm Korean, or I'm from India, I'm still somebody, you son of a bitch. Don't call me a other.
Yes, exactly.
So, when we teach our kids to separate and split up, and and that's why I don't like to use racism, just the terminology, the characterization of racism too often, because I would much rather prefer to it as tribalism. Everyone in their own tribe. You remember that vote them off the island bullshit that everybody used to watch? Survival. What was the name of that?
Yeah, Survivor.
Survivor.
Yeah.
And what's his name? From CNN. What's his name? Cooper.
Anderson Cooper.
Anderson Cooper. He used to host that, but people forgot that. But guess I'm dating myself. Yeah. Early 2000s or whenever it was. But yeah, that's what it's like. It's like everybody within, and it's always something used to divide us.
Yes.
Even if everybody was white, let's say everybody was white, top of the power structure, there would still be religion. And that would divide us.
And financial status.
And then there would be finances, and then there would be, and then social,
yes.
and then it's always something to divide us. But people keep going for the big stuff, like religion. Everybody's talking about religion right now because Kanye and Kyrie Irving, basketball player, two people are entertainment. You guys ever notice that there's no African American atheist that has a big platform that everybody knows? Think about that. Think about that, because if that was the case, people think you have no audience. So if you have no audience, there's no money there. So they don't even let us talk. They don't even speak. I don't know. Name one. Just give me one. Who's a big fat, avid atheist speaking about religion?
The only my partner, rest in peace, Annalise, she was from Cuba and she was an atheist, and she always spoke out on her podcast about how they're trying to push religion on everybody, that it has to be involved in everything you do. And for a while she got a lot of flack about it, but then people started like, no, actually she's kind of right.
Yeah. So, if people would kind of slow down and listen and just put a block between all the mental conditioning that we've had since we were children, talking about the devil, Satan, you're going to go to burn in hell, and they scare the shit out of these kids starting at an early age.
Yes.
So that's what they live with and grow up with, and then when they, get to the age where they need to do more critical thinking and cause and effect and history and reconciling all of these life experience with what's actually happening in their life now, and then you want to fucking beat them over the head with scaring them about some bullshit about afterlife, and it's like, we can't even get this one right.
Yeah.
And it's an afterlife somewhere. Now think about this. There's a heaven somewhere. All good slaves. I'm sure we had good slaves. All those good slaves went to heaven, right? They're up there with their fucking masters. What are they doing? Do they have to be slaves again? Or are they equal status now?
Right.
I mean, nobody thinks about this shit, but it's like, come on, y'all, wake the fuck up. Yeah. Black people need to be free. They need to be fully emancipated from their owners.
Yes.
Because as long as we're worshiping the same God, it's no way we're gonna ever be on equal footing, because we're subjugated. It's like, we got you fucking mentally.
Right.
You know these white people, and I don't use the N-word. I've been doing comedy a long time, too goddamn long, and I don't use the N. But think about what the white people must think when they look at us and we're worshiping their God, and we're at the bottom of every fucking list you want to be on in America. And they got to be thinking like, "Whoa, I'm glad these niggas don't lose their religion. They'll kill all of us." Yeah, I mean, people just need to wake up and think.
But people are programmed.
Mental conditioning.
Birth. Yes, from birth. Like, my grandmother was a Sunday school teacher. I was in church 4 or 5 days a week growing up. And then when I became a certain age where I started actually processing it and thinking about things for myself,
that age I was talking about earlier.
I would start asking questions, and and nobody could give me an answer. Well, the Bible says, okay, well,
Yeah.
where does the Bible say that? Where can I find that? Where can I research that?
And you know what?
And nobody could give me an
You just
answer.
said a key phrase.
Yeah.
The
Research.
Bible
The Bible.
says.
Mm-hmm.
Some ancient, primitive bullshit that was written by people that didn't even know the earth was round.
Right.
And we can't even get history right now. They don't even want history taught.
No, they're
like, oh no, y'all weren't slaves. Y'all was just hanging out. You know.
Yeah, can you,
decided to work for us.
Texas is currently working on taking that whole section out
Yes.
of history books.
And unfortunately, Texas is where all our books come from in the fucking nation. For everybody.
Yes.
For years. So think, really? I mean, what do we really know? Do we know about all the experimentation that took place in the South during slavery on black people? I mean, Tuskegee and the syphilis and all of that stuff, that was just stuff that we got hold of. And luckily there's fucking actual photos of slaves because these people would fucking deny it if they didn't exist.
Right.
And that's why I like to document everything I do. It's Steve Hill here in Satanville, California.
Bill, that's right.
That's right. I'm the goddamn governor of the Antelope Valley.
There we go.
You know, I've run for office a couple of times. I can't get elected to shit. But I'll just be the governor of the AV. That way I'll get...
Because you're smart.
I'm
because
smart.
you speak out.
Oh yeah,
Because you support your people because you're fighting for a cause. They don't want to hear it from you. They want to oppress you. They want to keep that down.
But people need to hear the truth.
Yes, they do.
So fuck them.
That's right.
Fuck
and
each and every one of them. And the AV is getting ready to learn a lot. And you know,
they're gonna fuck around and find out.
Is this thing that's what you do when you fuck around? Find out. And they're getting ready to learn. They're getting ready to learn about the business of the Antelope Valley. Can we talk about my arrest yet?
Yes, please.
Let's talk about my arrest.
I've been like dying for that.
Let's talk about my arrest.
Let's
March
do that.
7th, 2022, by the California State Department of Justice at the request of the LA County Sheriff's Department. The AV needs to know that if I can't be safe, outspoken, somebody that these people know, nobody's safe.
No. Yeah.
So when you fight for somebody like me, a big outspoken atheist, secular, I refer to myself as a satanic humanist.
Okay.
If somebody wanted to try to put me in some kind of religion box,
Okay.
and you know that's what people feel comfortable doing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're an atheist, and they want to find a way to. Oh, you're so easily dismissed. You're not only an atheist, but you tell jokes. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And they think, oh, it's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
But that's the mistake because they don't read my resume.
Right.
They don't know where I come from. They don't know what I've done. And that's probably why I was arrested. Because he fuck around and find out.
Right.
He didn't, Alex Villanueva didn't know who he was fucking with. So,
What happened?
So they had this little, I refer to it as a Klan meeting.
Yes.
But it was a political event out in Leona Valley, California. That's about 10 miles due west of the city of Palmdale. Antelope Valley, rolling hills, the topography, like 98% white.
Yeah.
Demographics would reflect not too many black people live back there.
Okay.
Seen a couple of Latinos. But they had a meeting back there. It was Catherine Barger,
Okay.
Alex Villanueva, Tom Lackey, and a very good friend of mine, Representative Mike Garcia. This motherfucker was there. So, you know, I introduced myself. I can remember, and it's on tape somewhere, because Catherine Barger made sure she screamed at me and told me that this was being, it was being live streamed.
Okay.
She, you know, tried to stop it. This is being live streamed, which I didn't give a fuck. Which I'll send you all of these clips that I have.
Yes, please.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, and it was a meeting about those evil fucking Mexican drug cartels.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
Mhm.
those Mexican drug cartels, you see in the papers, in the AV press, there's lots of stories about those Mexican drug cartels. Anyways, what I saw it as being was just a political event, a stunt to round up support for the more conservative. It was held at a church, one of the churches out in Leona Valley. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. It's the biggest one. I used to know the preacher there. I think he passed away. But they had a meeting and they spoke and they told and talked to the people. Lots of sheriff's deputies were there. I think Captain Schaefer was there from the Palmdale Sheriff's Station.
Okay.
Oh, he was there. I have pictures. Yeah, and when it came time for the audience participation portion of the program, Satan was there to add his 2 cents and ask some questions. And I think one of the questions I asked, I never got to the question that I really
So
wanted.
he's like this.
Oh yeah.
Stirring the
Yeah.
pot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Trust me, it was automated. It was push button. It was bigger than that. Though. But yeah, and so I wanted to ask them, like, when are we going to have one of these? Because this was all government. I mean, this was elected officials holding this event. So I wanted to know when we were going to have a meeting like this, maybe say in East Palmdale, East Lancaster, where there'd be a much more representative demographic,
Of the actual community, yeah.
you know, audience participation event that would show up so you can hear the voice of everybody in the community. And you know, they didn't want to give me an answer. They didn't want to let me complete my questioning of the event. And Captain Barger jumped up and yelled at me that this was being live streamed and I should shut up or something. But Alex Villanueva was there, and I'm pretty sure he was pissed off because I kind of fucked up the event. And I stormed out. But I'll give you, I have tape of that.
Okay. Yeah.
And about 2 weeks after that, some DOJ person came to my house talking about, and I saw them on my way to the house. You know how you come up the hill to my house? There was a string of vehicles with one sheriff unit and just a string of like undercover cars, unmarked law enforcement, and I was like, damn, where are they going? And then, you know, I almost the break, but I had to meet my wife for, you know, we have an appraisal business, so we had an appointment. But they were on their way to my house, and about 2 minutes later, we were on the 14, and this officer shows up on the Ring doorbell, Arroyo, and he goes, we're here to get your weapons, and you shouldn't have any weapons, and you need to come out, we need to talk to you. And I'm like, talking in the Ring doorbell, I'm like, well, we're not there, and what is this all about? And he goes, are you Melvin Hill? And I was like, yeah, that's me, you got the right person. Like, weren't you released from a mental institution? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
And now I'm totally, you know, and I had it on speaker, my wife heard it and everything, and, you know, first we thought it was a joke, and then he started giving me all this information about me, and I'm like, okay, but why are you here? And I was like, no, sir, I've never been in a hospital a day in my life, except when I was born. That was it. I've never been over it. And he was, okay. And well, I told him, well, I'm not coming home. We can meet later or whatever. And all of a sudden, that guy didn't come back. And this was about the same time that I needed to get my signatures in, because I was running for Congress. I'll give you the document. I paid $1,740, and because I got distracted, and then I had to rush. I wasn't even thinking about it anymore. I was trying to find out why am I arrested?
Right.
What is this shit about? And find out that I think it, you know, I know what it is. I'm keeping my powder dry on this one, but in my first case against the sheriff's department for having a cop come to my house, tracking me down and coming to my house to question me while I was in his neighborhood, that attorney fucked me, screwed me, and somehow I think he has something to do with why I was arrested.
So let's talk about the arrest.
Okay.
So where were you?
I was here at home.
So
I when he came back, another officer came back.
Okay.
Officer, I got his name. I'll give it to you. You'll have it. I got his business card, his badge number, all that. He came and he arrested me. Like 2 weeks later, you know, they took me to Palmdale, they had me out in front of the house.
What were they saying that your charges were?
That I had weapons. That I had weapons. And I'm not supposed to have weapons. And I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? And then I started piecing it together that somebody said I was released from a mental institution. And I'm like, who could have done, what is this? You know, and I still really don't know. I still really don't know, and I'm really waiting for this investigation to conclude where they don't have any paperwork.
Yeah.
And I know it. So I really can't say much right now because there's going to be some serious litigation in about 2 weeks.
So they come to your house, they tell you that you were previously in a mental institution and you're not allowed to have weapons.
Right, so they took my father's gun. This is what kills me. My father is my hero.
Right.
He's a World War II veteran. I used to also be his hunting buddy back in Missouri. I mean, he taught me how to shoot, how to hunt. He told me all these stories about World War II. And I use his guns as ornaments in my house. I'll show it to you. You can tape it on the way out. And they snatched them off the wall, and I'm like, this is some priceless shit. And you're just grabbing this shit, and I don't even know where it is right now today. But I tell you what, if they're gone, if I don't ever see them again, it's gonna get ugly.
They're about to fuck around and find out.
Gonna find out.
Yeah.
Because each one of those fucking guns, and there's only 2 of them, and I had my own personal, you know, gun for self-protection. Because when you, and people don't understand this, when you're a real estate appraiser in an area like the Antelope Valley where you have such disparity between east and west, when you're appraising properties on the east side of Lancaster, where I had to go one morning when this cop came to my house. But anyway, I don't want to get these stories colluded together, mangled up, confusing, but you need to carry a gun.
Yes.
I still have, I'm a retired correctional officer. I still have contracts hits out on me from the prison, and I know it. From the Aryan Nation, Nazi lowriders, and the Peckerwoods that was on Charlie Yard in the 90s at CSP LAC, which is California State Prison, Los Angeles County. I still have contracts under me out there. So, and I'm in these neighborhoods. I go in East Lancaster, and I'm looking at houses and trying to look at the value influencing characteristics of a property, and it might be a gang member out front, and all of a sudden now you're taking pictures and people are fucking throwing up gang signs like, what the fuck you doing here? You know, get out of here.
Right.
So you gotta stay protected. You know, and these motherfuckers got my weapons. Now I'm just out on the streets. It's a lot of business I've lost. Because there's certain parts of town I won't go into.
Yeah.
It's certain places. Now this is the conflict of thinking of people. There's certain parts of Acton, Leona Valley, Lake Hughes, that I won't go into because it's a lot of places that are dead ends, and it's a fucking lot of Trump signs. Yeah. And if you got people flying Trump signs, living back there, when they see a black guy driving around the fucking neighborhood, I mean, there's gonna be, it could be some vigilante shit break out in. I mean, they will fucking, you know, and they live off the road. They'll see you and drive to the road to ask you, what are you doing here? And you have to explain, you know, spend 15 minutes explaining what a fucking real estate appraiser does.
Right.
But yeah, it's reasons I need to carry a gun, for real. Yeah. And the California state law stipulates after you've been a peace officer for, I think it's 5 years, that you can actually carry a concealed
Right.
weapon. So these motherfuckers, they got my 9mm pistol that I need right now, and they got my father's 2 guns. But they said that, you know, that was my offense because I was not supposed to have guns because I was in a mental institution. That's what they told me. And now, like I said, the Office of the Inspector General of the State of California is getting ready to conclude that there's no paperwork that indicates that I was a threat to anybody, that I threatened anybody, that I said I'm gonna blow your fucking head off, that I'm gonna kick your ass, I'm gonna choke you with my bare fucking hands until you can't breathe no more. There's nothing.
Right. It's because
And mine
you interrupted the Klan meeting.
It's because I interrupted the Klan meeting and they didn't know who they was fucking with because it was all Alex Villanueva who did it. Who doesn't understand that I supported his stupid ass when he got elected. See, Darren W. Parker, who was the chair of the African American caucus in the state of California, was a friend of mine and a mentor politically. He supported Alex Villanueva. He told me, oh, he's a good Democrat. So I supported him. I got pictures with him, selfies. I supported him. But what people don't understand is Alex Villanueva was a piece of shit. And we get these subhuman, non-caring, no compassion people in office, and it holds back everybody. It fucks up the whole political system because now we've elected a piece of shit. And that's what happened when we got Trump. And now look where we are. This country's never been so divided.
Right, I agree.
Never. And I consider myself a patriot. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. I mean, I know where I come from. I grew up poor on the north side of St. Louis. Poor as fuck. Joined the military because my father was in the military. And figure it's part of the American, this is fuck we do. We join the military, we fight for our country and but if you guys notice, everybody does. I don't know who makes the criteria for who's a fucking patriot, but you notice that only certain people get to be patriots in America.
Yes.
Think about it: Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Colin Kaepernick, Rosa Parks, Maya Angelou. Think about it. Were those people great Americans? Were they ever considered a patriot?
No, you don't ever.
Look at Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
This motherfucker got his own holiday. Is he considered a patriot?
No.
Well, fuck that. I consider myself a patriot. Satan's a patriot.
There you go.
That's right. See, my people helped build this great nation.
So let's get back to the arrest. So what happened? When were you released, and how did you get released?
Oh, I made a couple phone calls.
Not just one?
I made a couple phone calls, and I was released in a couple hours. But it was still humiliating just to be out in front of my house with a beautiful view in cuffs for about an hour while they totally violated, raped, mutilated my house to get all the weapons out. Which they fucking missed the ones in the attic. Obviously, they're not real estate appraisers and realizes that houses have attics.
Yes.
I have most of my guns in the attic. The ones that I don't want nobody to fuck with. But anyways, and I brought some back from my vacation house. We have an RV that we have property of my ancestors in Mississippi, about 13 acres. And I have plenty of guns there. So I brought some back. In case them motherfuckers want to come get them. And it's interesting times.
So you come home. What's your next move? What's your next step?
Start trying to figure out who did this.
Who did it?
Who did this? Who's behind this shit? I'm calling everybody. I'm talking about, what's the guy's name? Steve Hoffbauer. That motherfucker. He's the one that told me that my attorney was a fucking idiot.
Okay.
I got his number. Fuck it. Call Steve Hoffbauer. He told me, your attorney is a fucking idiot, Steve.
Hey, Godfather. Sorry, I couldn't get your call right now, but at the tone, please leave your name and your phone number slowly, please. And I'll call you back as soon as I can. Feel free to leave a detailed message, but please leave your name and your phone number first. Thanks. Bye.
Hello, ex-Mayor Mac Cheese. Hey, this is Steve Hill, man. Give me a call. Talk to you later. Yeah, these people ain't shit. And none of them.
So you find out your attorney is a piece of crap.
Screw me because, see, my license plate reads for Satan.
Yes.
That's how the person who saw me in this cop's neighborhood, that's how he found his way to my house. Because, I mean, it's obvious. I don't get out of my vehicle when I'm shooting photos.
Right.
Because, you know, I've developed techniques
Right.
where nobody can even know that I'm taking a picture. Because, out of necessity. Because this is such a fucking racist community. Anytime anybody see a black man like holding up a camera, I've been chased, screamed, threatened, yelled at. You know, hey, what are you doing? You know, it's like, oh, he stole the spirit of my house with his camera. Like, they have no clue about what an appraiser does, but I think it's something especially alarming when it's a black man. So, somebody saw me, his neighbor saw me, and I probably shouldn't even have said that, but his neighbor saw me, and his neighbor, I think, went over and told him, oh, there's a guy, and his license plate read, for Satan.
Yeah.
So 45 minutes later, I'm here getting some HVAC service, and this cop shows up. Hey, you know, he's done run all of my shit. He knows that I have a Department of Corrections block on my information that he could ascertain from running my plates, but he did know my address. He knew a lot of shit. I don't know what all he didn't know. The motherfuckers say he had all the information of all the vehicles I owned, my first address that I moved to in '91 when I first moved to Palmdale. They had everything.
Wow.
And I'm like, all of this shit just because my license plate reads for Satan? That you're going to violate me like this? And then as soon as he walks up, he starts asking me, and this is how they get black people. This is how they get us. Where were you 45 minutes ago? Because see, they want you to answer something fucked up and wrong. And even just out of instinct, I was like, how should I answer this? It's like, is this a, you know.
It makes you question yourself.
It made me question myself, and I was like, I know exactly where the fuck I was at, you know. And that's when I took my phone out and said, wait a minute, because people ain't going to believe this. And I took a picture of his dumb ass. You'll see it. It's a 2-second video clip, live. But, yeah, and I asked him. I said, did somebody call the police on me? And he said, no. So now I'm like, well, why the fuck are you here asking me any goddamn thing?
Yeah. And
then he go, oh, what were you doing over there? And I'm like, I'm a real estate appraiser. I appraise real estate. Your house, you know, I didn't tell him everything.
You have to use your house for a
But
comp.
I said, your house was a fucking comp.
Yeah.
And I still have the picture that to that day. And see, they tried to lie. When the investigator called that Vanessa Wilk listened to, they tried to lie and say, oh, well, his wife saw you. His wife saw you. She was looking out the window. Now think about it. It takes me a fraction of a second to take a picture. If she saw me, wouldn't the bitch be in my picture? Wouldn't you see a curtain? Wouldn't you see, not in that fucking picture, but a house. You can't even see through a window. So how did she see me? I never saw nobody. It was because their neighbor saw me and told her.
Right.
And then he took him however long to do an unauthorized, off the fucking record, while I'm paying his motherfucking ass. You know how much I pay in taxes? My business?
A lot.
A lot. Paying his salary. And he up here fucking with me in an exclusive neighborhood, talking about what were you doing in my fucking mansion, Kaufman and Broad built bullshit house, tract home. asking me what am I doing in his neighborhood. And all I can think of is, what the fuck are you doing in my neighborhood? Fucking with me. So yeah, it's a lot in this whole why you get arrested shit, but it's all getting ready to come out.
Yeah. So, okay, so wait, I'm breaking this down. So you go and you're getting comp pictures. I used to do mortgage. So I have a lot of friends that do appraisals, home inspections, real estate, things like that.
Whole
So
smear.
I'm very familiar with that process.
Mm-hmm.
So you're out getting comps, you take a picture of this house, the neighbor sees you, tells him, he goes and searches all your shit.
No, see, that wasn't it.
Comes back.
No, that wasn't it. He just came up asking questions.
Oh, okay.
And then I figured, because I was a state Senate candidate at the time, I was actually on the ballot.
Right.
And I went out to a meeting that was held, CAC meeting, Citizens Advisory Council. Captain Schaefer was speaking, and he asked, is there anybody here with a problem with the Sheriff's Department? And I was just going to politely complain that, hey, yeah,
I got harassed.
me,
Yeah.
one of the officers came to my house, off the books, rogue officer, questioning me about whose fucking neighborhood I'm in.
Was he in uniform and in a patrol car?
Yeah, I got pictures.
Woo.
I got pictures.
Okay.
And he told me, oh, well, you need to go to our website. And I have a friend, Maureen Fuller, longtime activist. She said, why would he have to go to a website when he's sitting right here in front of you?
Yeah.
And I got photos of that too. I got some video of that. He didn't have an answer. And then I looked at the board, Lilia Galindo, the Islamic gentleman, what's his name? Khalid, and Reverend Henry Hearns, Bishop Hearns. All of them sitting right there. And I sat there to the end of the meeting. Nobody ever asked me, and they all know me, like, Steve, what's the problem?
Like, what happened?
What happened? Tell us right quick. Nobody asked me shit. Then I stood around for a few minutes. Nobody came up. So I said, you know what? I'll file a formal complaint. So I filed a formal complaint, went to the station, filed a formal complaint where they have to investigate. That's when the lieutenant talked to me, called me, I think his name was Valentine. That's when my friend Vanessa Wilk heard the whole conversation, and I decided, you know what? Respectfully, I'm going to end this conversation and get an attorney because fuck y'all, you're not going to talk to me like this. And I think that's where it started. But then with me speaking out at the meeting in Leona Valley, I was like, they were like, enough, nigger. You've had enough. You need to go to jail. Sure, you got some relatives at the prison. You need to go visit your relatives.
You need to quiet it down.
Yeah, you can't be talking. And I wanted to talk. Yeah, and I went out there basically to talk about the disproportionality and the lack of representation in black people who are making money off cannabis.
Right.
We're not making no money off cannabis. You know how I was a prison guard during the 90s. You know how many motherfucking people that were locked up doing time, and I met a lot of them. I know some famous ones. They were locked up drug dealers, selling weed, selling crack, selling whatever the sick-ass community needs to get them through the next day. All those blacks and Mexicans that were locked up. And now guess who's not making money? Guess who's not making money off cannabis?
Right.
And I got friends in politics. These motherfuckers have told me that when they show up at the meetings, oh, Steve, there's a lot of white guys with nice cars, but I don't see many brothers. That means we're not the ones making the money.
Right. And I have
We need
friends
this.
that are still in prison for getting popped for having weed on them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it became legal in the state of California. I understand it's not federally, but statewide it's legal and they're still in jail.
Right. Oh, you ain't got shit. You preaching to the choir right now. You preaching to Satan. Shit. Yeah. I mean, it's so much injustice. It's like, why the fuck everybody not screaming and fucking rolling around in fire in the streets because there's so much injustice.
Right.
And black people are getting fucked right now.
Oh yeah.
Go to these courtrooms. Look at what has happened to me legally. My attorney fucked me. The judge fucked me. It's a document I got from him where the attorney states, oh, one of the problems we have in this case is your client didn't state to us that his license plate reads for Satan. He didn't tell us that.
Wow.
He's not saying that to nobody. And I'm like, why the fuck does it matter?
Right.
It's a state issued license plate. Why should it? Who brought it up? They brought this shit up, and my attorney, and I told him, like, this is a religious liberty, freedom of speech, freedom of expression case, and my rights have been violated.
Yes.
Well, no, we're not going down that road. He fucking laughed at me.
If it said for Jesus, they would be like, oh, you're a Bible thumper.
Yeah. Now, if it would have had some shit like A.D. Chevy puts, what did they put on their license plate?
Who?
A.D. Chevy. We bought my wife's car from that, Tahoe. God bless America.
Oh, okay.
Those license plates are all over fucking town. Don't nobody ever say shit. You get for Satan on your license plate. You got motherfuckers coming up all the time taking pictures, rolling, hey, can I get your autograph, Satan? People that, freak out because everybody's been so mentally conditioned to see Satan and just automatically attach it to negative connotation. Like, fuck this, Satan, no, evil, horror, screaming, in hell. It's like, grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Why are we still listening to this primitive bullshit from people and people think it's one God. You know how many gods there are? Thousands. Right. But everybody think their God, oh, that's the one. That's the one, especially black people. They're like, oh, God is good all the time. I'm like, shit, I can tell you a time period that motherfucker went through goddamn good.
Oh.
I can give you some dates, goddamn it.
Yeah.
Like shit, he was asleep.
And I mean, are we supposed to feel like he's sleeping on us? And
no, we're supposed to feel
only woke for the white.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
Like,
and that's
supposed to feel.
That's what I tell people. That's
Yeah.
what I like. And white people don't even get mad at me. They be like,
they know it's
they be like, Steve, we got you, dog. We got you. You're like, yeah. I mean, your white God is working for you. He's working. Don't give him up. Don't let him go.
Yeah.
But black people, what the fuck y'all doing?
Right.
What the fuck? Like, oh, you'll just keep me as a slave. Fuck it, you got my mind. No, wake the fuck up. We're in this shit. We are in America.
Yes.
Let's deal with America. And everybody, like Kanye and Kyrie Irving, they want to discuss and have these deep theological arguments about what it says in the Bible. Fuck the Bible. The Bible is some ancient fucking relic.
Yes. How I mentioned before, like I grew up in the church, and the pastors of my church, I grew up with his kids. And he passed away, and I was talking to his daughter one day. And when I started kind of opening my eyes and asking questions and things like that, back then, if you were gay, you're burning. If
you're toast.
Yeah. And if you supported anybody who was gay and things like that, you were burning. And I remember sitting in his church and him saying, leave the two front pews open because I want the people from the back to come sit up front. I want the drug dealers, I want the prostitutes, I want, the heroin addict, I want the gays, the lesbians, I want you all in the front row because I want to give you my undivided attention. right? And that's how I kind of grew up. It didn't, in his church, it didn't matter if you were a mechanic and you just got off of work and you ran into the church all greased up, as long as you made it to church. He didn't care.
Right.
So that's what I was exposed to. So I'm talking to his daughter one day. And my very best friend is gay. And so I'm talking to his daughter, and I said, you know, I was like, my friend wants to marry her partner, you know, and we're finding a real division in a lot of the churches. Some of the pastors, some of the priests, even in the Catholic Church, will marry now same sex, but then you have a lot of like Baptist church and things like that
They're
that are
all
still fighting it.
humans.
Right, and they're still fighting it. And I said, so, and she had just become an ordained minister. And I said, so what is your take on that? Well, I'm expecting for her daddy to kick up in her and tell me, you know what, Heather, God loves everybody, you know? And she told me, oh no, that's wrong, and you need to really pray for her. You need to pray for her for forgiveness and for her soul and for her desire to be changed. I was so saddened by that, like so disappointed, so hurt.
It's like a gut punch.
By that, yeah, because I was like, well, if my God, or the God that I'm taught to respect and love and be loyal and faithful to, loves everyone, why is my friend being excluded? Why is the love, the pure love that she has for her partner, being excluded and dismissed like it doesn't count or it doesn't matter?
Yeah, I think there's an exclusionary clause in God's contract.
Yeah.
Because I've been always thinking, like, you know, how they mentally train you as we all God's children.
Right.
And that motherfucker owe us some child support.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of days I didn't eat.
Like, you know, I've seen parents exclude their kids because, oh, my religion doesn't support that. And I literally saw a family who was very close-knit. They have a son who is bisexual, and they changed their religion.
Wow.
And when they changed their religion, their son was no longer welcome and they held Bible studies at their house, and he had to leave.
And see, this is
how does that even work? And now, I mean, so we have same-sex marriages that are legalized, you know, and now they're trying to fight that and pull that back.
Right.
Why are people being punished for loving? For you know, supporting each other and unconditional love between someone? Why is that being kicked out? Well, they're starting to preach about that in schools now too. You know, and where for a brief time, kids were so open, like, yes, I'm gay.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I love him.
Yeah,
I
that
love
didn't last
her.
long.
Yeah, and now
evangelical Christians make sure that didn't last long.
Yeah, everybody's like closing back up again, and I'm just like.
And see, that's what I talk about. Oh, if somebody like myself can't be free, a black, outspoken, satanic humanist can't be free, can't none of you motherfuckers be free. And I consider myself the freest black man in America because I'm not tied to no religion. All I'm tied to is human interaction, how people interact with me. That's how you find out who you love, who you can trust, who you can get things done with. I'm not dictated by anybody's theocratical writings from centuries ago when they can't get critical race theory straight right now.
Right.
But they want you to go back centuries ago after King James and everybody else did their interpretations of this magical bullshit. Slaves obey your masters.
Well, you know, you even want to go back to those times. I mean, when you think about it, kings and royal families and stuff, they all like slept with each other and married their brothers and sisters to keep the royalty,
royal line, bloodlines flowing.
Exactly, pure bloodlines. And it's like, but nobody's talking about that.
Yeah, they didn't want that one drop stuff interfering with their pure lines of superiority.
And nobody's talking about that.
And nobody's saying shit about it. Let's be quiet. Let's not teach history. Let's just act like it didn't happen.
Right, right.
It's like-
History's going to start with 9/11.
See, and
right. It's like,
and this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. They don't want you to teach history. How about you stop creating fucked up history for everybody?
Right.
You're creating history every day. You're doing shit right now to immigrants at the border that you exploit for their labor. You're doing shit right now that you're not going to want taught in 50 years.
Right.
Because everybody's going to be moving on.
Right.
And that's why this country is so fucked up right now.
Yeah.
We are at a civil war, and people don't even realize it. I mean, I've realized it damn near all my life. If you're black in America, you got to realize
Right.
you're at civil war with these people
Right.
who can't change.
And isn't that like, I have a hard time wrapping my head around how someone is treated just because of the color of their skin or the neighborhood that they grew up in or their financial status. Like the difference in how people are treated and just and how people try to, defend it. Like, oh, well, they grew up in this neighborhood, so, their education wasn't that great. How do you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, they work here. Well,
Yeah.
okay, so they can't make any money. And,
Right.
oh, well, they're a roughneck.
Right.
And, they do manual labor, so you know that they don't make any money.
Yeah.
And it's just
Oh,
like
I know.
the labels, when Trump was running for office, I laughed.
You mean like right now?
Yeah, well, rewind it like 6 years ago, but I laughed so hard because I was like, everybody's like, well, he's a businessman. Well, yeah, but all the businesses that he bankrupt were not his, that was not his money. He uses other
Right.
people's money to
Got
start
those
businesses.
stakes.
Yeah.
Colleges.
Yeah, and
Universities.
then, everybody,
Trump you.
everybody like jumped my shit when I started talking about when he was like, oh, we're going to build the wall, Mexico's going to pay for it.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, everybody thought that I was offended because I'm Mexican,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but my point is if he is stressing that he wants to protect our great nation from immigrants, then build a wall around the whole goddamn country.
Right.
Not just our ally who had their
Yeah.
first boots on the ground during Hurricane Katrina.
Right.
When it took California and it took, FEMA weeks to get out there, Mexico was there within 2 days. They were there, boots on the ground,
Trust me.
fucking pulling people out of water, out of homes. They were feeding people. They were getting babies medicine. They were there. But let's build that fucking wall.
I know.
I'm like,
That's the whole contradiction you have with this area.
yes.
When you have them chanting and screaming, build a wall, you also got all these small business owners who have built their businesses on the exploitation of undocumented people
Yes.
who just want an opportunity at the American dream.
Yes.
And
But-
who deserved
but-
it. I don't know if people don't understand. This shit used to be Mexico.
Right. But also,
Before
are
Unipero
you
showed
ready
up
for
and
this?
started building missions and shit.
The white people will say, these damn immigrants are coming and taking our jobs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have never seen a white man fight for a job to bend over for 48 hours straight picking onions out of a field for $2 a fucking sack.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
that's
know.
exactly what they're making right now. And I've never seen a man fight for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know
Trust
whose
me.
job they're taking.
Trust me, but what hurt to me is that our community, our people aren't smart enough to see it.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you see the hypocrisy, the exploitation, the inhumane? I mean, you talk about DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals.
Yeah.
These kids don't know shit, nothing but America.
Right.
They're Americans.
Right.
And you want to give them that feeling of being unstable in your own country where you could fuck around and be deported instead of going to McDonald's this evening for dinner. You could be
Right.
deported.
Right.
Like, who would want to live like that? Why don't we straighten that shit out?
Right. Right.
I mean, think about it. The last person that did anything significant about immigration that bent towards justice was Ronald Reagan in 1986 when he had a fucking amnesty.
Yeah.
I didn't hear nobody that, oh boy, but as soon as Obama got elected, oh hell no.
Yeah.
You know, let's build a wall, let's keep everybody out.
Yeah.
And then Trump, he just accelerated it. You know, he exacerbated a pre-existing condition already that we have with one political party exploiting the fact that we couldn't build Southwest America without that labor.
Right.
Because they sure the fuck don't want to play black people. They complain too much.
Right.
They're like, shit, I'm a hire you at a decent living wage and have you bitching about working too? Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to America.
Yeah.
You got any other relatives at home? That's what they do, man. This
Yeah.
whole area is saturated. And I want these people to be free.
Yeah.
Free my people. Shit.
That's right. Me too.
They deserve to be free. They work hard. Shit.
Yes. Yes. So what is the next step for you?
I'm running for office, goddammit.
Woo!
I'm running for 27th Congressional District against Mike Garcia. And I don't know how this investigation is going to come out. I don't know if he had anything to do with my arrest. I just know that him and Alex Villanueva endorsed each other. And they were both at the meeting that I went to in Leona Valley. I have photos and video. And some other elected officials were there. I want to get to the bottom of why I was arrested, but I'm going to be running for Congress for sure. And I'm going to start now because we have to change our political power structure in the Antelope Valley so it'll more effectively represent the changing demographics when you have a bedroom community like this where people commute into LA. But because we have affordable housing here, and I say that tongue in cheek,
Yeah.
because right now the median price of a 1,500 square foot 3+2 in a typical tract is going to set you back about $420,000. And I just feel sorry for the young people in their 30s, some in their 40s, some who got booted out during the mortgage meltdown in 2008
Right.
because their credit was so devastated that they've never gotten back into it. I mean, people, and black people, of course, were affected the worst, where you don't have an opportunity to pass along generational wealth because you've lost your
Right.
ownership rights to property.
Yes.
You know, property ownership in America is like the #1 way to pass along generational wealth to your kids, where you can leverage that property, build equity,
Right.
get a, maybe start a business, put your kid through college, break the chain of, generational poverty and assistance
Right.
on public funds and programs and begging people for shit. And then therefore people, but they did this to us when they built ghettos.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they forced us up until 1968, supposedly, to stop the redlining, they put us all into these ghettos, and we flocked to the cities for jobs during the Industrial Revolution and things like that, people out of the South. Everybody wasn't able. Remember, we didn't have education. We have nothing. We have college degrees when we went there.
Right.
So now you got a community full of people that don't have an economic tax base to support their own schools, their own infrastructure, their own businesses. And they're basically being victimized once again. They start victimizing each other.
Well, they took the projects in Pacoima, the projects in Van Nuys, the projects in LA, and they gave everyone housing vouchers to move to the Antelope Valley.
Right, I know. And it's been a long secret. It's been a long secret, and I would like to get to the bottom of it one day, but for years I've been hearing about these clandestine programs to bring people out of South Central, Watch, Wilmington,
Yeah.
all the low rent districts,
Yeah.
South Central,
Yeah.
to bring them up to the Antelope Valley. And to that I say, okay. In one part I say, okay, you're going to spread people out to more diverse communities further out in the suburbs where there's more affordable housing. They could probably have a less stressful way of life. But then on the other hand, I say, are they moving black and brown people out of the inner cities because they know that property values are going to be much higher due to their close proximity to goods and services and government, entertainment, arts, culture? Are they moving us out of there because they know those property values are going to always be higher?
Oh yeah.
And you're
All
gonna
I used to
lose.
hear when I was doing mortgage, I would go with my friends to go show a house or something. Oh, well, there is one Hispanic family over there in the corner, and there was a black family down the street, but I do think that they moved, so you should be okay.
Yeah, they all
And
do
I'm
that.
like,
Right.
what the fuck did I just hear come out of your mouth?
Right. Yeah.
Like, it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
It just blew my mind. But then also they're giving these vouchers that are only so good for so long. There's no Section 8 out here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Section 8 is
Yeah,
like
Rex Paris and the sheriffs pretty much got done with that.
And so
the
the
like,
people
get out of here, there's a new sheriff in town.
So these people are moving out here and then find themselves 6 months later, they can't even afford it.
Yeah.
And now they're homeless, and now RX Paris wants to ticket us for feeding them.
Oh, RX Paris was like, fucking shoot them.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
On yourselves, citizens.
Yeah.
Churchgoers.
Yeah. RX
Get your
Yes.
AR-15 at Walmart.
Yeah.
Those homeless people are coming to get you.
Yeah, and it's like, so we are creating these situations for these people supposedly because we're helping them.
And it's all used
But-
for political fodder
Yes.
to scare the shit out of the old, crumpled up people who are dying, scare the shit out of them, the churchgoers, all the people who are, white, who grew up here when there was very little diversity out here, when people were growing alfalfa.
Right.
And there was actually antelopes in the Antelope Valley.
They killed the animal by building the railroad tracks.
And I saw some, I was appraising up in Tehachapi.
Oh, okay.
I got photos of antelope. Wild. I saw some back in the 90s too, along 138. I thought it was a dream driving back from San Francisco, and on the side of the road I see antelope standing. It's back in the 90s. And I was like, did I just see that, or am I sleepy? I need to pull over, get some rest.
Yeah.
But it was actually antelope, and I was like, wow, antelopes in Antelope Valley.
Yeah.
Who would ever thought?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just shows you how things are changing. There used to be bear here. The
There's
prison.
still bears.
The prison I worked at Tehachapi was an old hunting site. The level 2 and the level 1 yard. They were like these big cabins and dorms for hunters to hunt bear.
Wow.
Now
Yeah,
it's
no,
a prison. We're moving
we
on
still
up.
in Lake LA. There's bears. There's mountain lions.
They come down?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we get them.
Yeah, we got bobcats around here. Every now and then we hear of a mountain lion catching on somebody's Ring doorbell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I try to keep
Nibbling on their animals,
Yeah, try to keep my dogs. I got one little one that gets through the gate. I try to keep them locked up.
Yeah.
The only bears I see are LA County.
Yeah.
LA County Sheriff, Kern County Sheriff.
Yeah, they're known. There are some spottings. Those clowns.
But we have to change it.
Yeah, we gotta change it. We gotta change people we elect. We gotta change people that's supposed to care about us. The people who gain the public trust by going out. It's a shame. It's really a shame. And I'd like to thank courageous people from running, like Juan Correa, who's now the I think 39th Assemblyman District, and what's her name? Andrea. What's her name? How could I forget her name? She's 5th District Council Member. Alarcon. She just won the election. Eric Olson.
God.
Eric
Yes.
Olson
Yes.
won. There's going to be no more mayor of Palmdale, because it's going to be like a floating mayor, this magic program they came up with because our government was so corrupt. They were jury rigging the districts where black people had no power, no say. So now it's all, I think the city of Lancaster brought that lawsuit. Yeah, it's Ledford and all of them. Is Ledford still in jail? Did Ledford get out?
I don't know.
Ledford, you don't see yard? Where you at? Him and what's her name? Sandy Corrales.
I got banned from the Wasona School District meetings for their board members because I went in there and raised a big stink about what was going on in the schools.
Yeah, I've done that
So
before.
I'm not welcome there anymore.
I've done that before. Russian. Holla at your boy.
Yeah.
Who else? Charlie Hughes. My boy Charlie Hughes just got elected.
Yes.
keep forgetting what district. West Side? West Side? Or high school district? Maybe high school district. Which one? Charlie Hughes.
Yeah.
We were prison guards together. We used to work Charlie Yard back in the
So you guys,
back in the 90s
you
when
guys
prisons
got
were
to the
prisons.
back.
Back when they just all they had to do was lift weights all day
Right.
and fight and stab and kill each other. But we were together, and he knows we've had many
designing
conversations.
that though for us to do that. They're letting us kill each other off,
Of course they are.
and
Of course they
they're
are.
okay
Because-
because raising
because-
their property values.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And
it's
they wouldn't
just
have
easy.
fodder to. They wouldn't have material to say, see those people. We gotta stay away from them. We gotta stay
Yeah.
divided from them, because
Yeah.
make sure they don't move next door to you. You know, shit like that. You know, keep us divided. That's all. That's all. Keep us divided. Keep us fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like George Carlin said, it's a big fucking game, and you're not in it.
Yep.
We
Yep.
down here with the ants, with the crabs, making sure the other crabs don't reach the top of the barrel.
Right.
That's the syndrome Americans are caught in right now. People don't understand it, but
I think that for the Antelope Valley, one thing that should be implemented right now as people, you know, as we pull out of the pandemic statuses and people are losing their homes because they didn't pay their mortgages.
yeah,
or they
I
didn't
just
pay
noticed
rent and
this
things
morning,
like that.
I was running some properties to look at, and I just noticed a property I'm going to be doing in Rosamond.
Mhm.
There's about 4 or 5 short sales,
Yeah,
and one is in pre-foreclosure.
yeah.
In just
So-
one small
Yeah,
neighborhood,
so
and I was
it's
like,
coming up. It's
oh
coming up.
boy, here
But
we go
what's going to
again.
happen is major investors from Pasadena and
Well, that's what they do
LA,
every
Glendale,
time.
they're going to
You're-
come in
you-
and
you're-
they're going to,
You remember when Mitt Romney ran in 2012? He
Yes.
came along, oh, you know, corporations are people, my friend. It's like bullshit.
yeah.
No, they're not. He was the one, mortgage meltdown. Oh, well, we need to let investors come in and, you know, rejuvenate those properties and make money. And I'm like, you unsympathetic bastard.
Yeah.
These people are losing their homes, and you're concerned about investors coming in? How about we get some programs
We need to
implemented,
block
some
those
fucking
investors.
stipulations where people
Yes.
stay in those homes until the
Yes.
market recovers, because you've incorporated all of these tricky ass loaning instruments into our financial systems. The Clinton administration broke down the Glass-Steagall Act, which kept banks from becoming
Yes.
casinos,
Yes.
and nobody thinks about that. They also brought us, along with Biden, that 94 omnibus crime bill that built prisons in California, like, you know, they were putting up lemonade stands
Right.
and locking everybody up, and
Now
then
they
giving
got
us
orders
all
to
of
build
those
it.
cops
Yeah.
on the street who were untrained, unvetted, mostly racist from the military. People don't understand that.
And it's a control thing.
Oh, of course.
They jump into law enforcement because they got a chip on their shoulder.
Right.
And
I'm
it's
here
a
to,
control.
I serve with them.
Yeah.
I know how they
Yeah.
are. I'm here to serve America. I'm here, you know, to protect this country. You know, they feel like they're really true patriots because I need arms to keep all these others, these brown people down. Make sure they don't come up. Keep them, you know, I'm their saviors. You think about it. And they started this shit after 9/11.
But did you
George
notice
W.
that
Bush.
on the side of the patrol cars, it no longer says to protect and serve?
Depends on where you go. Depends on where you go.
Yeah,
I know one
I
thing that's
asked.
prevalent a lot is that a lot of these fuckers are putting "In God We Trust" on the side of their vehicles, and I'm like, which God?
Right,
Allah?
right.
Which
What
God
God
are
are
we?
you
Could you be
trusting in?
more specific?
Yeah, yeah,
Because if there was a God watching all this bullshit going down, we wouldn't need no cops.
right.
Everybody would be acting in accordance with His wishes. We wouldn't be harming each other. We wouldn't be molesting each other. We would be raping kids. We wouldn't have all of these evil things that happen,
I mean,
that
what's-
transpire.
What's going on with the training within the police where they're shooting autistic kids in the back? You know what I mean? Like somebody has a mental condition or a disability and they're quick to draw on them and you find out
Because people
It's
have
crazy.
people, yeah.
In-
They don't.
in
They can't
Lancaster-
teach compassion
Right.
to cops.
In
Just can't.
Lancaster, I want to say less than 10 years ago, a friend of mine, it happened on her street. There was an autistic kid riding a bicycle, had a squirt gun. Somebody called the police, said that there's somebody riding around on a bike with a gun.
I remember.
And they rolled up on this kid,
Yeah.
and he got freaked out, and they literally shot him and killed him in the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were like, he lunged at us. Then how the fuck did you shoot him in the back?
Right. Yeah.
Because he lunged at you.
Kind of reminds you of the Tamir Rice thing, but we didn't get that kind of recognition here. When they jump out the car, you know, 2.7 seconds, pop, kid's dead.
Yeah,
He had a toy gun.
yeah,
Same thing. Some of
Yeah.
these guys have a predisposition already to like, and I've seen it. I work
Trigger
with
happy.
prison guards who, you know, work these gun positions. They are more than happy to bust a cap at an inmate's ass.
yeah,
I knew an officer that tried to kill an inmate. You know, up at the tower at level 4A at the Tehachapi, up at the central tower on the yard. When I got there in '91, they used to mark it, hatch it off for every inmate shooting. Every inmate got shot, there's a notch somewhere on the tower. It's like, yeah, you know, it was a big thing back in the early 90s. That was before Rodney King. And I did see our department go through a very significant change as it relates to use of force, verbal commands, how to interact, how to de-escalate situations because of the lawsuits.
yeah.
So yeah, people can change, departments can change, and it all depends on leadership. All depends on who's in charge.
Yeah.
All depends on who we vote for. All depends on who's in office, how you can affect your community in a positive manner.
Right.
It all depends on the people and what they care
Register to
about.
vote.
That's
and
right.
vote. Do
Right.
not sit there and complain about what's going on in your community if you do not go out and vote.
Right.
That is your responsibility. You need to handle that. You need to share your voice, and that is what's going to change things.
Exactly. And that's why I do shit like run for office.
That's right.
Because somebody got to tell the truth.
Yes.
Somebody, these poor people in the AV, there are so many like people who are suffering, and there's so many programs. If you go to these offices, even the political ones, they know, they have information, and it's poorly disseminated throughout the Antelope Valley because people are too busy struggling, hustling, trying to survive. But there's places you can go and get assistance, and you don't have to fall through the cracks.
Right.
And there's good people. I know a lot of these ladies that work for these politicians in their offices. They help people all day.
Right.
Veterans,
Yes.
homeless, battered women. And it's resources and things, but people, you know, sometimes you gotta seek out, you know, assistance. And a lot of people fall through the crack. That's why you got so many people living north of Avenue H,
Yeah.
20th Street West, out in those old RVs. It's like Mad Max out there.
Yeah.
And it's disgraceful.
Yeah.
And you know,
I have a passion for our military and our veterans. Like, I went to school and to be a social worker specifically for our veterans. I'm halfway done with that degree. I need to go back and finish. But like, I have friends and family that have been in every branch of the military and have participated in every single war in U.S. history. So for them, like you were saying earlier, you know, your father was in the military and you felt like this is what we do. We go and we defend our country.
oh yeah, my family goes back to the Civil War.
Yeah.
Documented.
So you go and you risk your life and you go through these conditions where our government is giving you testing drugs, you know, their vitamins supposedly to keep your energy levels up, and then guys are coming home and their children are being born with birth defects.
Right.
And it's all being
Oh, trust me.
back.
I drank the water at campus.
Yes. So it's like, then for our veterans to come home and get the care and the benefits and just the things that they're promised in their contract is ridiculous. I have a friend who has a shoulder and a knee injury, and he was in the military, and he's been waiting for years for surgery, and it can't get approved. Like, I'm sorry, this man went and risked his life so that, you know, people like or it's theirs, and everybody can just run around and do whatever the fuck they want, fucking up the world,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And people are risking their lives and doing things to try to better our lives, and then they can't even get the medical attention they need, or the mental health that they need, or they're homeless. Like, I'm sorry, I feel that our veterans should come home to a home, you know, and they should never have to worry about where a meal is gonna come from or how their bills are gonna get paid.
Yeah.
That's my feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the you know, Star Spangled Banner version, how everybody thinks that veterans should be, you know, especially if you're running for office.
Yeah.
That is the worst type of exploitation that I see around here when politicians always chant, rant, and rave about veterans. You know, Mike Garcia sent out a tweet saying that this country should be observed for doing two things. One, you should be judged on how you treat your veterans. And I'm like, Mike, I've been telling you for shit almost a year now that I was illegally arrested. I'm a U.S. veteran, man. I don't go through this shit.
Right.
But yet he won't do nothing about it. I asked him to bring in the federal DOJ to investigate what's going on because can't nobody provide answers.
Right.
He won't then lift the finger and do shit. And I'm like, am I not a veteran? Or the black veterans get a discount? Or am I not a full American
You get a backseat
citizen?
ticket, is what you get.
Yeah, do I come later, or why am I not treated, you know,
Right.
like a veteran?
Right.
You know, everybody holds veterans in such high praise, and it's all a fucking game. They're exploited.
Yeah.
You know, they show up at these veteran events, go to coffee for vets, you know, breakfast with vets.
But they're
You
sitting
know,
over here with their rich
fucking
friends,
dinners with
and the vets are over here by themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they're not mingling.
They come to give a
speech.
speech. They come to give a speech and leave. You know.
Yeah.
Thank you, veterans. Yeah, rah, rah. And the veterans, of course, are happy to see them because now they feel like, oh,
We're being recognized.
our elected official came pay attention to us and he's listening to our thoughts and concerns, which they don't understand. They don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
Give a fuck about you, your medical condition, how far you got to drive down to LA to get adequate medical care,
Yep.
how
Yeah.
long it take, if you know, gas. They don't give a fuck about you. If so, they would have built a facility up here in this valley
A long time
20
ago.
years ago.
Yes. Yes.
You know this area is expanding. Urban sprawl moves outward from the larger metropolis areas like Los Angeles.
Yes.
So you know this. You know what's coming.
Prepare for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This issue could have been squashed.
Yeah, and then they want to.
But you know what? Mike Antonovich needs a courthouse.
Oh yeah.
We need to move the DMV to a centralized location so everybody can be mad at one time. Yeah, this kind of shit goes on.
Yeah.
But you know, it's America, and it all depends on who you get
We're making it great again.
elected. Yeah, we're making it great again. Yeah. Making it great, boy.
Yeah, making it great again.
I don't know what, when, where.
Is there anything else that you want to say? You want to give any shout outs? You want to
Man,
warn somebody or
Satan
something?
for Congress, 27th Congressional District. I'll be making an announcement official. As soon as I can, the first day, I'll be running for office to expose all this bullshit that goes on in the Antelope Valley, North Los Angeles County. Hail Satan.
That's right.
That's it.
Thank you so much
That's it.
for your time and for talking with us. And I would love to do follow up with you.
Oh yeah.
And
Because there's more coming.
because you and I, we friends now.
Okay.
Friends, okay.
So I'm trying to get. What my mission is to unite all the brown skinned people.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to get my people out, help get elected in the office. It's like, yeah, gotta do it together. You know,
That's right.
you know what we've been up against in the AV for all these years. There's these fucking they use these church people as a voting bloc, and they vote religiously.
Oh, yes.
They come out, they don't give a fuck
And
about being distracted.
but they don't think for themselves. They vote for who their pastors or their community tells them that they should vote for. They don't do the research on themselves.
Or the
for
AV,
themselves.
or the AV press tells them,
Yes.
like, oh, don't go to the east side.
Yeah.
You know, it's people that never go across the 14. They won't go across 10th Street West. Oh, I know where you are.
I'm east of
I know
east.
exactly where you are. I know exactly. You in Lake LA. I got Lake LA jokes. Shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. You out there near, Sun Village.
Yeah, I'm past that.
You know, you live in east of Sun Village, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's where they put black people at.
I know, what?
And you east of them. Goddamn, you can see hell from where you at.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, they don't even like to talk. They like to talk about, the drugs out there and the homeless situation out there and poor people living out there and stuff. But they don't talk about, how the schools are being ran out there and how they actually built an entire school.
Wilsona.
And then it was never used on 150th and O. There's a whole school, bungalows, everything, and it was never used. Why can't you open that up for our homeless?
And that's been locked up for how many years now?
Oh, like 15 years.
I remember when the
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I've been
isn't that
appraising.
crazy?
I've been appraising that long. I've been appraising for going on 20 years. I remember when that was a hustling, bustling, fully functioning school with beautiful little children running around the schoolyard.
That one's on 170th.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And
That's
it's
that's the one with brick.
Yeah.
They got brick. Them motherfuckers are big time. They got brick.
I want to thank you so much for your time and sharing with me all your thoughts, ideas, the upcoming battle with your investigation. And
You came out fighting with the system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there with you. That's awesome. Just everything that you're about, I'm 100% supporting. So you will definitely have.
Well,
to.
thank you. Thank
You're
you.
very welcome.
Tell black people about me.
I sure will.
Satan's not so bad.
Yeah.
Get to know him.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank
Have
you
a
for your
beautiful
time.
day. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Stay tuned for another episode of Real Talk Tonight, and hopefully a follow-up soon. And we'll see you soon.
Y'all say.
I want to thank you so much for your time and sharing with me all your thoughts, ideas, the upcoming battle with your investigation. And
You came out fighting with the system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there with you. That's awesome. Just everything that you're about, I'm 100% supporting. So you will definitely have.
Well,
to.
thank you. Thank
You're
you.
very welcome.
Tell black people about me.
I sure will.
Satan's not so bad.
Yeah.
Get to know him.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank
Have
you
a
for your
beautiful
time.
day. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Stay tuned for another episode of Real Talk Tonight, and hopefully a follow-up soon. And we'll see you soon.
Y'all say.